So let us start. In previous few sessions, we have started this chapter number 1, that is Introduction to Ferrous Alloys. In this chapter, firstly, we have seen what are the different types or classification of the alloys. In that, ferrous alloys, non-ferrous alloys, we have seen in detail. After that, we have seen what is meant by alloying, what is the concept of alloying, then what is the necessity of that alloying, and then we have also seen what are the solid solutions and their types. So today we will see the classification of cooling curves. Before starting to that, just we will see what is meant by cooling curve. So the cooling curve is a line graph that represent the change of phase of matter. That means if you have increased or melted anything into liquid form, so that liquid form of metal, or that may be a solid solution, or that may be alloy. So that melted form of alloy we will convert, or we will cool, so that that can be uh, change its phase from liquid to solid or from gas to solid. And we will draw one graph of temperature versus time. That graph we will call it as a cooling curve. So cooling curve is a line graph that represents the change of phase of matter, typically from the liquid to solid, or in some cases it is gas to solid. So in that graph, in that cooling curve, the independent variable is time. Independent variable is time, and dependent variable is a temperature. That means we are continuously changing the temperature because we are cooling that specific metal or its alloy. We are cooling that, and at different temperature and time, we will plot one graph of their phases. So uh, on x-axis we will take time, on y-axis we will take temperature, and one example of that cooling curve is shown, cooling curve for the pure metal. If you have melted one metal to a liquid, then that liquid form of metal, suppose its temperature is very high, that is temperature written there as a pouring temperature. Pouring temperature is the temperature at which we are melting to a metal and then pouring into mold, so that we can make the casting of that metal or anything else. So that is the pouring temperature. So at that much temperature we are melting that metal, and we are then cooling it. In the cooling curve we have to draw the graph of change in phase from liquid phase to solid phase. Now when metal has melted up to point A, that means at the pouring temperature, and then we have reduced the temperature, then we have cooled that. So from A to B, that metal has the cooling form from liquid only. That means from A to B, the form of that metal is liquid only, and there we have cooled that. From A to B, it is the having liquid phase. Again, from B to C, it is having a combined phase called as a liquid and solid phase. From C to D, it is having a solid phase. From C to D, it is having a solid phase. At point A, it's at pouring temperature. What is the pouring temperature? Just now we have discussed. From that pouring temperature, it will come to the freezing temperature because we are cooling. So at point B, it will freeze. Sometimes while cooling, the temperature of that molten metal will come certain below the freezing point, that is called as a supercooling. That much deeper we are not going for these cooling curves, and these cooling curves are very much necessary while drawing the phase diagram. Next important bit is the phase diagrams, and for drawing the phase diagram we need to understand the cooling curves. So here one example of that cooling curve of pure metal I have shown here. From pouring temperature to freezing temperature we have come by cooling. During that total A to B point, liquid phase is only there. At point B, sometimes the temperature goes beyond point B, and that why we are calling it as a freezing temperature, or we are calling it as a super cooling. So super cooling is the process of chilling the liquid below its freezing point without it becomes a solid. So sometimes for pure metal, this super cooling occurs, but we are not considering here after this super cooling. Only we are considering from pouring temperature to freezing point we are coming. Then at a constant temperature after freezing point, there will be starting of change of phase. That means the liquid metal is starting to convert into solid phase. But at constant temperature, at that freezing temperature from B to C point, you can observe there is certain time period. At that time period, two phases are there, liquid plus solid. In that diagram I have written liquid plus solid. So there, from point B to C, two phases are there, liquid plus solid phase, and at constant temperature it is. So there, some amount of heat is there. That heat we are calling it as a latent heat. You may have studied this term latent heat. For your just revision or understanding, I have written here definition of that latent heat. Latent heat can be understood as an energy in hidden form which is supplied or extracted to change the state of substance without changing its temperature. So at constant temperature, we are changing the phase of substance by some amount of energy. That energy may be given or that energy may be taken. So given for conversion of solid phase to liquid phase, and taken whenever it has to be converted from liquid phase to solid phase. So that's why in definition also it is written, sometimes it is supplied and sometimes it is extracted. That means latent heat can be understood as energy in the hidden form which is supplied or extracted to change the state of substance without changing its temperature. So at point B to C, there is a latent heat of solidification here. Because it is a cooling curve, we are cooling this liquid into solid form. That's why latent heat of solidification is there. That's why we are extracting the heat from here, from B to C point, and we are getting liquid as well as solid phase in the B and C points. So beyond that freezing point temperature, if temperature is again lowered or cooled, then at point C, there is a complete solidification of that liquid phase. So from C point, if we decrease the temperature again, then from C to D point, there will be complete solid phase you will get. As you decrease the temperature, also as you increase the time, so there is a solid phase from C to D point. So this is the standard or typical cooling curve for the pure metal. For pure metal, this kind of cooling curve you will get where from A to B point there is a liquid phase, from B to C point there is a solid plus liquid phase, and from C to D point there is only solid phase. So understand what is meant by cooling curve. What is meant by cooling curve? Next we will see the classification of these cooling curves. Next we will see the classification of these cooling curves. So generally cooling curves, we will see four type of cooling curves. Firstly, a cooling curve for the pure metal. Secondly, a cooling curve for the binary solid solution alloy. Then the cooling curve for binary eutectic alloy, and then the cooling curve for of eutectic binary alloy. So these four cooling curves we need to see in detail. So firstly, cooling curve for the pure metal. Cooling curve for the pure metal. Just now you have seen the cooling curve for the metal. Is it understood? What is cooling curve and what is cooling curve for the metals? Just write in the chat whether it is understood. Yes, okay. Then the cooling curve for the pure metal we will see in detail now. So this figure you understood just now, where A to B point there is only one phase called as a liquid phase of the metal, and then we have started cooling from A point to B point. As temperature decreases, only liquid phase you will get. From B to C point, there is starting of change in phase. There will be liquid plus solid phase you are getting from B to C point because of latent heat. At constant temperature, this is occurring. Again, from C to D point, there is a change of phase completely into solid, and there only solid phase you will get from C to D point. As temperature decreases, as time increases, only one phase you are getting. So this is a cooling curve for pure metal. Now, here in region AB, there is only liquid phase, region B to C, liquid plus solid, and from C to D, there is only solid phase. It is written in the diagram. We need to apply here one Gibbs phase rule so that we can get some parameters. The parameters such as number of phases, degrees of freedom, number of components in the system. To get all these things, any of these things which is unknown, we can get by this Gibbs phase rule. So before applying Gibbs phase rule, we need to understand what is that Gibbs phase rule. Gibbs phase rule states that under equilibrium condition, the following relation must be satisfied, and that relation is P plus F is equal to C plus 2. P plus F is equal to C plus 2, where here P is the number of phases existing in the system under consideration. Number of phases existing in the system under consideration. Now, in this previous diagram, just consider A to B cooling curve only, A to B. Here, how many phases are there? Only one phase, that is liquid phase is there. From B to C, L plus S I have written here. That means here from B to C curve, two phases are there, liquid and solid. From C to D, how many phases are there? Only one phase is there, that is solid phase is there. So in this equation, what will be P? Number of phases existing in the system under consideration. We are considering step by step lines from that cooling curve. A to B, only one phase. B to C, if you are applying the Gibbs phase rule, two phases will be there. If you are applying Gibbs rule for this C to D curve, only one phase will be there. So like that. Next, F. F is the degrees of freedom. That is the number of variables such as the temperature, pressure, or concentration that can be changed independently without changing the number of phases existing in the system. You know that what is mean by degree of freedom? Number of variables that can be changed independently without changing the number of phases existing in the system. And those variables here for the cooling curves will be either temperature, pressure, or concentration. Remember these three things, degrees of freedom, that will be there for our considered cooling curves. For cooling curves, these three degrees of freedom are possible. Degrees of freedom definition we have seen in theory of machine Tom also. There 9, 12, 6, that many degrees of freedom are possible, but here for cooling curves, only 3 degrees of freedom can be possible, that is temperature, pressure, and concentration. Now, F is the degree of freedom. C is the number of components in the system. Number of components in the system. Now here, first type we are looking for cooling curve is the for pure metal. Second type we are looking for cooling curve for the binary solid solution. Here, two different solid solutions are there, isn't it? In cooling curve for binary eutectic alloy, here also liquid plus two different solid can be possible. That means how many material we are considering here? So S1, S2, two different metals we are considering. In previous case for binary solid solution also, there it is a one kind of alloy. So binary solid solution alloy, there also we are considering the two components. So this C will be 2 in that case. But for pure metal, that C will be considered as only 1 because C is the number of components. So for pure metal, definitely it is only one component. For alloys of two metal, there will be two components. Alloys of three metal, if it is considered, their C will be 3. So C is the number of component in the system. 2 represents the two variables out of above 3. That is temperature, pressure, and concentration. So in that equation 2, so this equation is given by Gibbs, and one standard relationship. He has done many experiments and he has got this equation, P plus F is equal to C plus 2, and here 2 is the variable. It is it is constant having or representing the variables in the system. So here out of 3 variables, only 2 variables are considered, and in many cases this Gibbs phase rule is considered or written as a P plus F is equal to C plus 1. So why here 1 and why here 2? Because 2 we are considering whenever the 2 variables are there in the consideration out of temperature, pressure, or concentration. But many a times what will happen, we are considering the constant pressure, so that the pressure, one of the variable has kept constant. So in that Gibbs phase rule, only one parameter will be considered out of these 3, because pressure automatically has been constant. Out of temperature and concentration, we will write here 1. Instead of 2, we will write here 1 if that study is under constant pressure. So hereafter, whatever we are doing for phase diagrams, there we are considering this equation P plus F is equal to C plus 1, because all things we are doing at a constant temperature, at a room temperature. That's why, at a constant pressure, at atmospheric pressure. That's why we are considering only 1 here. P plus F is equal to C plus 1. Now, this Gibbs phase rule we need to apply to all these cooling curves. Whatever 4 types of cooling curve we are studying, we need to apply that for all type of cooling curves. So we'll apply this Gibbs phase rule for the cooling curve of pure metal. So for pure metal, first line we will consider A to B. For that region, we will apply Gibbs phase rule. So Gibbs phase rule is P plus F is equal to C plus 1. Here P is a phase, only one phase is there, that's why I will write here 1. F, degrees of freedom that we have to find out, is equal to C plus 1. C is a component. Pure metal, that means only one component, that's why 1 plus 1. Therefore F we have got is equal to 1. So that's why degrees of freedom for this region A to B is 1. Therefore this system is a univariant system. That means only one variable can be varied to get that phase. So therefore the meaning of F is equal to 1 is that the temperature can be varied without changing the liquid phase existing in the system. So every time for that cooling curve, we need to apply the Gibbs phase rule for different lines. So here 3 lines are there for cooling curve of pure metal, A to B, B to C, and C to D. Apply the Gibbs phase rule for each line. First line we have applied and we have got degrees of freedom equal to 1. So meaning of that F is equal to 1 is that the temperature can be varied without changing the liquid phase existing in the system. So as the temperature is varied here, you can observe in the diagram of line AB also, here as the temperature is decreased, there is no change in phase, only liquid phase is there. That's why how many degrees of freedom is there? Only 1. So 1, F is equal to 1 means temperature only can be varied without changing the liquid phase existing in the system. So sometimes if F is equal to 2, what is mean by that? So in next consecutive cooling curves, you can get, or you will get F is equal to 2. So F is nothing but degree of freedom is equal to 2. That means system is a bivariant. That means 2 degrees of freedom are there. And the meaning of F is equal to 2 is temperature and concentration, because pressure is constant. That's why we have written in equation 1 here. Instead of 2, we have written 1. Pressure is constant. So only degrees of freedom possible will be 2, and these 2 is nothing but for temperature and concentration. So F is equal to 2 means the temperature and concentration can be varied independently without changing the liquid phase existing in the system. So here you can observe from A to B, temperature is reducing. That's mean temperature is varying, but the liquid phase is remaining constant. Also, concentration is also varying from A to B point. Still liquid phase is constant. So that is the meaning of degrees of freedom. Either temperature or concentration can be varied without changing that phase. So for pure cooling curve, A to B, F is equal to 1. Similarly, apply for the region B to C. Similarly, apply for the region B to C. If you apply for B to C, how many phases are there? 2 phases are there. In the diagram, you can, or you know that for pure metal from B to C, liquid plus solid phase is there. That's why 2 phases plus F is equal to C. Now component always 1 for pure metal plus 1. So F is equal to 0 you have what? That means it is a non-variant. So here temperature is constant. Also the concentration is also constant. That's why it is a non-variant. Without varying anything, we are getting here 2 phases. So the meaning of F is equal to 0 is that the temperature cannot be varied without changing the liquid and solid phase existing in the system. So without changing these phase from B to C point, temperature cannot be varied. And we also know that here temperature is constant. So this is also proved by F is equal to 0. So if the temperature is increased, the metal goes in liquid phase, isn't it? And if the temperature is decreased, metal goes in the solid phase. This phase is here from B to C, liquid plus solid phase. Above this temperature, there will be liquid form. Below this temperature, it will be solid form, isn't it? Hence, the pure metal solidifies at a constant temperature. At this constant temperature, the pure metal gets solidified. This is a freezing temperature, B you can say, or C, because both are in the horizontal line. Understand? Now this is the second region. For third region from C to D, apply the Gibbs phase rule and tell me what will be F. Write in the chat what will be degrees of freedom for C to D line or curve. Apply the Gibbs phase rule and write in the chat what will be degrees of freedom for C to D. Write in the chat how many degrees of freedom will be there for point C to D. For region C to D. Again apply this equation, B plus F is equal to C plus 1. Put the value of P, C and find the F. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
It's only one student have written the answer. Others? Am I audible to others?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Then try to write answers in the chat. How many phases will be there? One phase, correct? One phase will be there for the region again. Sorry, here A to B I have written by mistake. Region it is C to D, for the region C to D. Again, it is a univariant system because degrees of freedom you have got equal to 1. That means temperature can be varied without changing the solid phase existing in the system. Temperature can be varied without changing the solid phase in the system. This is the cooling for the pure metal, and you need to explain all these things if the cooling curve for the pure metal is asked. Generally, question is asked in the exam like that, explain the cooling curve and their types. So you need to write the names of all types and any one type you can explain. Cooling curve for the binary solid solution alloys. Second, we will see now the cooling curve for the binary solid solution alloys.